Yeah, an election night, as Republicans were winning elections all over the country and all over the state, Bob Fioretti, the second ward alderman who's running for mayor, wagered that most Chicagoans are still Democrats and that there's a certain percentage to be gained for him in his race in the February election by calling Mayor Emanuel a Republican, essentially.
I think he's a good Republican, the mayor is, so...
The problem is that Alderman Fioretti has not always been so critical of Republicans. In fact, he's put a lot of his money where his mouth no longer is. He and two law firms that he used to have, Fioretti and Desjardins and Fioretti and Lower, made a lot of donations, tens of thousands of dollars in donations to Republicans before Bob Fioretti became a progressive member of the city council back in 2007. There's about $120,000 that Fioretti and his firms have donated to Illinois political campaigns, and tens of thousands more that they gave to federal candidates, and probably about 80,000 of that actually went to Republicans. Guys like George Ryan, when he was Secretary of State, before he became governor and the federal inmate. Jim Ryan, between the time that he became Attorney General of the state of Illinois and the time that he lost in his run for governor. Joe Burkett, Dan Rutherford. These are all Republicans that got money from Bob Fioretti or the law firms that had Fioretti at the start of their names. And one of the other ones that he gave to back in 1996 was also Bob Dole. It was a $250 donation from Fioretti personally to the Republican who ran in 1996 against Bill Clinton. Yeah, when I asked Fioretti about his comments about Mayor Emanuel, he clearly stood his ground and said that he thinks that Emanuel is cut from the same cloth as someone like the governor-elect, Bruce Rauner, who of course is in fact a Republican. But when we asked Alderman Fioretti about the donations that he and his law firms had made to Republicans, he said that he was absolutely shocked that he didn't remember giving to Bob Dole. He even suggested that possibly the records that the Dole campaign had submitted to the Federal Election Commission had been doctored somehow. Of course, he gave no proof of that, and I think that's highly unlikely to be the case. As far as the other donations, he said that was all the handiwork of one of his law partners at the firm who liked to give to Republicans. But again, those were firms that were called Fioretti and Lower and Fioretti and Desjardins. And also some of the donations, such as the donation to Dole and others, were made by Fioretti personally, according to the campaign finance reports that were filed by those candidates.